The Wellington Grand Hotel gleams against the twilight sky, its marble facade and gold-trimmed windows embodying old money and power. Inside the penthouse boardroom, champagne glasses clink as executives in tailored suits celebrate. In the corner, a woman in a crimson power suit stands apart from the festivities, her gaze fixed on the sprawling city below. The door opens. She doesn't turn. "The papers are ready for your signature, Ms. Patel." Her reflection reveals striking features hardened by determination, a slight smile playing at her lips. 7 years, she whispers. 7 years to the day. As she turns, her eyes lock with a man across the room. Tall, impossibly handsome, frozen in recognition. The champagne glass slips from his fingers, shattering on the marble floor. No one else notices the electricity crackling between them. Some debts can never be paid with money alone. Westlake Heights, 7 years earlier. The prestigious Westlake Academy looms like a medieval fortress, its manicured lawns dotted with students lounging between classes. Designer bags and luxury cars are as common as textbooks. In the bustling cafeteria, 17-year-old Maya Patel moves efficiently between tables, collecting trays and wiping surfaces. Her dark hair is pulled back in a practical ponytail, school uniform slightly faded from too many washes. Unlike her peers, Maya's hands bear the slight roughness of someone familiar with work. While others her age gossip about weekend parties, Maya mentally solves differential equations. A notification pings on her second-hand phone, another bug fixed in her app's code. She smiles briefly before tucking the device away. "Refill, please," demands a blonde girl without looking up, pushing an empty smoothie glass toward Maya. "I don't actually work here, Amber," Maya replies quietly. "I'm just doing my scholarship hours." Amber Wellington finally looks up, recognition dawning with manufactured surprise. "Oh, the scholarship girl. Sorry, you all kind of blend together." Maya's expression remains neutral despite the deliberate barb. She's perfected the art of becoming invisible when necessary, a skill learned from years of navigating spaces where she's seen as an intruder. In AP Computer Science, she sits alone at the back, the only girl in a room of boys who either ignore her or attempt to mansplain basic coding concepts she mastered years ago. Yet when test scores are announced, her name consistently tops the list, a fact that earns her resentful glances rather than respect. After school, while classmates head to lacrosse practice or shopping excursions, Maya slips through the service entrance of the Harrison estate, where her mother has worked as a housekeeper for a decade. Mrs. Patel greets her daughter with a tired smile that still manages to radiate pride. "How was school today, Beta?" "Same as always, Mom. Invisible until I'm inconvenient." Her mother squeezes her shoulder. "They don't see your light now. Someday they won't be able to look away." The annual Westlake Charity Gala transforms the school gymnasium into a glittering facsimile of a ballroom. Students arrive in luxury vehicles, girls in designer gowns, boys in tailored tuxedos, a teenage simulation of high society. Maya works the coat check, a concession made by the administration to allow scholarship students to attend the mandatory event. Her simple black dress, purchased from a consignment shop, is elegant, but clearly lacks the brand names that surround her. "Can you believe they let the help mingle this year?" Amber Wellington's voice carries deliberately as she passes with Zoe Sinclair and Blake Richardson, the infamous Golden Trio, who rule Westlake's social hierarchy with calculated cruelty. Maya focuses on hanging up coats with precision, pretending not to hear. Her phone buzzes, another notification from her developing app showing promising metrics from beta testers. "Is that an iPhone 6? God, I didn't even know they still worked." Zoe laughs, peering over Maya's shoulder. "My dad's company stopped supporting those like forever ago. It works fine for what I need," Maya replies evenly, sliding the phone back into her pocket. The gymnasium doors open and Tyler Harrison enters. Unlike his peers who revel in attention, Tyler carries his popularity with an almost reluctant air. His dark hair is artfully tousled, his tuxedo perfectly fitted to his athletic frame. Girls track his movement across the room, while guys offer fist bumps and shoulder claps as tribute to his status. "Tyler, over here," Amber calls out, flipping her golden hair. The Golden Trio has been grooming Tyler as Amber's eventual boyfriend, a perfect dynastic match between two of Westlake's wealthiest families. Maya turns away, focusing intently on her task. She doesn't see Tyler's gaze linger on her for a moment too long. Later, as she delivers drink orders to tables, Maya's tray is accidentally bumped by Blake, sending glasses crashing to the floor. Conversation halts as all eyes turn toward the commotion. God, she's so clumsy, Zoe stage whispers as Maya kneels to clean up the mess, punch soaking into her dress. Maybe she should stick to what she's good at, scrubbing floors like her mom, Amber adds, triggering scattered laughter. Maya's hands tremble slightly, but her face remains composed as she methodically picks up glass shards. A pair of perfectly shined dress shoes appears in her field of vision, followed by Tyler Harrison kneeling beside her. "Let me help," he says simply, using cocktail napkins to soak up the spill. "You'll ruin your tux," Maya murmurs, acutely aware of the eyes watching them. "It's just fabric," he replies with a shrug. "Are you okay?" Something in his genuine concern causes a crack in her carefully maintained composure. For just a moment, her eyes meet his, revealing a glimpse of the hurt behind her stoic facade before her walls snap back into place. "I'm fine," she says, rising to her feet. "Thank you." As she walks away, she hears Amber's possessive laugh as she reclaims Tyler's attention with a territorial hand on his arm. What Maya doesn't see is Tyler's gaze following her retreating figure, something unreadable in his expression. Sometimes dignity is all you have left when everything else has been taken away. Westlake Heights exists in a bubble of privilege so complete that its residents have forgotten it's a bubble at all. The town center features boutiques where a single handbag costs more than a month's rent in neighboring communities. Even the coffee shops serve $8 lattes with gold flakes that no one seems to find absurd. Westlake Academy sits at the literal and figurative peak of the community, a sprawling campus of Gothic-inspired buildings and emerald lawns that more closely resembles a small liberal arts college than a high school. Students drive better cars than their teachers, who smile through gritted teeth at entitled parents who donate new wings to the school when their children receive less than perfect grades. For Maya, navigating Westlake is like walking through a foreign country where she knows the language but not the unspoken customs. She moves between worlds, the academic realm where her intelligence earns grudging respect from teachers, the service economy where she works alongside immigrants and working-class locals, and the hidden corners of the wealthy estates where staff exchange knowing glances about their employers' secrets. The Harrison estate is the grandest of them all, a modernist mansion of glass and steel perched on 5 manicured acres. Mrs. Patel has worked there since Maya was 7, cleaning rooms larger than their entire apartment. The house includes a state-of-the-art media room, an indoor basketball court, and a pool house bigger than most suburban homes. It's in the Harrisons' home library, a 2-story room lined with books selected more for their leather bindings than their contents, where Maya finds her sanctuary during the hours she waits for her mother to finish work. Mr. Harrison, a tech magnate who travels constantly, doesn't notice when books are borrowed and returned. Mrs. Harrison, perpetually occupied with charity galas and tennis lessons, barely acknowledges the staff's existence. In this borrowed space, Maya devours textbooks on coding and business development, sketching app interfaces and notebooks while curled in a window seat overlooking the sprawling property. It's here that she's developed Elite Serve, her app connecting wealthy clients with premium service providers, inspired by watching her mother's backbreaking work go unnoticed and undervalued for years. Why not create something that makes invisible work visible? She had written in her project proposal, a document rejected by the school's entrepreneurship club as lacking commercial viability. The irony isn't lost on Maya that she's building her future from inside the very system that refuses to make space for her. The Golden Trio maintains Westlake Academy's social order with the precision of experienced dictators. Each member brings a particular brand of cruelty to their reign. Amber Wellington, with her cascade of blonde hair and family's hotel fortune, governs through calculated inclusion and exclusion. Her compliments contain subtle poison. Her generosity always comes with strings attached. As the unofficial queen of Westlake, she's already imagining the perfect marriage to Tyler Harrison, uniting 2 of the town's wealthiest families in a match worthy of old money dynasties. "Tyler and I practically have the same blood type," she often jokes to her friends. "Our parents have been planning this since we were in diapers." Blake Richardson, lacrosse team captain and heir to a hedge fund empire, enforces the hierarchy through casual cruelty disguised as humor. His handsome features regularly arrange themselves into expressions of mock concern while delivering devastating remarks. "Hey, scholarship girl, My dad's company is hiring janitors this summer if you need a reference. He offers loudly when passing Maya in the hallway. Gotta keep it in the family business, right? Zoe Sinclair, daughter of a tech CEO, wields social media like a weapon. Nothing escapes her iPhone camera. Awkward moments, unflattering angles, private conversations, all potentially ammunition for future use. Her Instagram stories subtly chronicle the rise and fall of social standing within their class. I'm just documenting memories, she insists with wide-eyed innocence when confronted by teachers about her constant phone use. We only get one high school experience. The trio views Tyler as their fourth member, though he maintains a certain detachment from their cruelest games. As the son of Harrison Technologies founder, Tyler's position at the apex of Westlake's hierarchy is unquestioned. Yet there's something in his occasional silences, his thoughtful glances, that suggests a discomfort with his role that he's not yet brave enough to voice. Mr. Fleming, the computer science teacher, represents a different kind of adversary for Maya. Behind his wire-rimmed glasses lurks a man deeply uncomfortable with female success in his field. While he can't deny Maya's technical brilliance, he constantly attributes her achievements to diligent studying rather than genuine insight, while praising male students for their natural aptitude. The industry requires more than just following instructions, Ms. Patel, he remarks when returning her perfect advanced coding project. True innovation requires creative thinking. The comment is delivered with the same smile he uses when explaining basic concepts to her, as if she hadn't just written code that exceeded the assignment parameters. Even the school administration maintains the status quo while hiding behind progressive language. Principal Hargrove proudly touts the scholarship program in marketing materials, while ensuring that working students like Maya handle the least visible jobs on campus. We're giving opportunities to deserving students from diverse backgrounds, she tells potential donors at fundraising events, her gaze sliding past Maya, carrying trays of hors d'oeuvres. In this ecosystem of wealth and carefully maintained appearances, anyone disrupting the natural order becomes a target, especially someone like Maya, whose very presence reminds others that their position is a matter of birth, not merit. Some walls aren't meant to be climbed, but demolished brick by brick. Summer heat blankets. Westlake Heights, turning the Harrison Estates gardens into a fragrant paradise of roses and jasmine. Most students have departed for European vacations or coastal retreats, but Maya continues her routine, accompanying her mother to work several days a week. In the quiet of the Harrisons' empty home, Maya works on her app, having found a perfect coding spot beneath an ancient oak tree overlooking the pool. With most of the family away at their lake house, she doesn't expect company. The splash startles her. Tyler Harrison emerges from the pool in one fluid motion, water cascading off broad shoulders. Unlike his carefully curated school persona, here he seems younger, more natural, a boy rather than an heir. I didn't know anyone was here, Maya says, quickly gathering her papers. Tyler pushes wet hair from his eyes, recognition dawning. You're Maya, right? From school? She nods cautiously, waiting for the inevitable shift, the slight cooling of interest that occurs when Westlake's elite remember she's not one of them. Instead, Tyler gestures to her laptop. What are you working on? Looks intense. Just a project. Her instinct for self-protection makes her answers clipped. Must be some project. Your face gets all focused, like you're solving global warming or something. His observation carries no mockery, only genuine curiosity. Maya hesitates, then finds herself explaining Elite Serve, her vision for connecting service providers with clients who need specialized assistance, ensuring fair payment and recognition for work often rendered invisible. Tyler sits beside her on the grass, still dripping, unexpectedly engaged. So it's like Uber but for high-end services? Sort of, but with better protection for workers. My mom's been a housekeeper for 15 years, but she has no retirement plan, no benefits. The app builds those costs into the service. That's actually brilliant, Tyler says, examining the interface sketches with growing enthusiasm. Have you shown this to anyone at school? The entrepreneurship club would go crazy for this. Maya snorts softly. They rejected it last semester, said it lacked commercial viability. That's ridiculous. Tyler's indignation seems genuine. Blake's dad funded his stupid smart water bottle idea, and that thing literally exploded during demonstrations. The shared laugh feels dangerous, a connection forming outside the rigid social boundaries that define their lives. Over the following weeks, A friendship develops in the margins of their world. Conversations by the pool, shared books, debates about technology's future. Tyler shows her his own projects, designs for sustainable tech that his father dismisses as hippie nonsense. He wants me to be this cutthroat business genius. Tyler confides one evening as they sit on the pool house roof, watching stars emerge above Westlake Heights. Everyone has this whole life planned out for me. At least they believe you have options, Maya replies. No one expects me to do anything except maybe get a decent enough job to support my mom someday. That's their mistake, Tyler says, his voice soft but certain. I've seen your code. You're going to change things. In the quiet that follows, their hands find each other in the darkness, a touch that acknowledges something growing between them that neither fully understands, but both can feel. Not just attraction, but recognition. Two people seen clearly by each other perhaps for the first time. As senior year begins, Maya and Tyler develop an unspoken choreography, acknowledging each other in public with casual nods, while saving their real interactions for private moments. It's Tyler who suggests the Harrison Library as their meeting place, knowing his parents never enter and the staff respect the family's privacy. Between calculus theorems and coding challenges, they exchange dreams, fears, and increasingly lingering glances that make Maya's heart race despite her rational mind's warnings. What exactly are we doing here? She finally asks one afternoon, when a study session has devolved into Tyler teaching her to play chess, his hand covering hers as he demonstrates how to move the queen. Being friends? Tyler offers, but his eyes suggest something more. Friends who only talk when no one's watching? Tyler's smile falters. It's complicated. It's really not, Maya counters, pulling her hand away. You're either ashamed to be seen with me, or you're not. That's not fair. You know what Westlake's like. I do. Better than you. Maya begins packing her books. That's why I can't afford whatever this is. Tyler catches her wrist gently. What if I don't care what they think? But you do care. That's the problem. His silence confirms her fear. Yet later that week, Tyler deliberately sits beside her in the cafeteria, a public declaration that causes ripples of whispers across the room. The Golden Trio watches with narrowed eyes from their corner table. That afternoon, Maya finds her locker vandalized with a crude drawing and the words, "Scholarship Slut," scrawled in lipstick. The custodian cleaning it gives her a sympathetic look she's come to recognize from fellow members of Westlake's invisible workforce. Tyler is furious when she shows him a photo. This was Amber. I know it was. It doesn't matter who did it. It matters to me, he insists. I'm going to talk to them. Don't, Maya pleads. You'll make it worse. But Tyler is already striding toward the courtyard where the trio holds court. Maya follows at a distance, stomach knotting with dread. She can't hear the conversation, but sees Tyler's confrontational stance, Amber's theatrical hurt expression, and Blake's dismissive laughter. When Tyler turns to leave, Zoe whispers something that makes him pause, glancing back at Maya with an expression she can't interpret. That night, Tyler texts, "Meet me at the pool house. Need to talk." The pool house has become their sanctuary, a neutral territory between their worlds. When Maya arrives, Tyler is pacing, agitated. "They know about us," he blurts out. "Zoe saw us in the library last week." "So? We were studying. She took pictures of us when I kissed you." He runs a hand through his hair. "They're threatening to send them to everyone. To my parents. To your mom's boss." Ice forms in Maya's stomach. Her mother can't lose this job. It includes the small apartment above the garage where they live, the health insurance that covers her mother's medication. "What do they want?" she asks, already knowing. "For me to take Amber to homecoming. To stop slumming," as Blake put it. Tyler's disgust is evident, but so is his fear. "Maya, my father's already threatening to cut me off if I don't start taking my future seriously. If these pictures get out, you'd lose everything," Maya finishes quietly. "I don't care about the money, but college, my plans for sustainable tech, he controls all of it. The unspoken choice hangs between them. Her family's security against his future. A choice that shouldn't have to be made, but exists because of a world that has already decided their worth based on bank accounts and zip codes. Then you should take Amber to homecoming," Maya says finally, her voice steady despite the pain beneath it. "That's not what I want. None of this is what either of us wants, but it's what is." As she turns to leave, Tyler catches her hand. This doesn't change how I feel about you. Maya looks back, a sad smile touching her lips. Yes, it does. That's what they're counting on. Some battles are lost before they're even fought, rigged by rules written long before we entered the game. Despite the homecoming compromise, Maya and Tyler find themselves gravitating toward each other with increasing frequency. Their chemistry is undeniable, evident in shared glances across classrooms and fingertips that brush accidentally when passing documents in study group. The entrepreneurship fair approaches, and Maya works tirelessly on her Elite Serve presentation, now refined after months of Tyler's encouragement and technical suggestions. Late nights in the computer lab often end with Tyler walking her to the bus stop, their conversations stretching until the last possible moment. "Why are you helping me with this?" Maya asks one evening, as Tyler debugs a payment processing issue in her app. "Aren't you worried about what your friends will think? You're smarter than all of them combined," he replies, not looking up from the screen. "And this app could actually help people, including my family's staff." On a rare weekend when the Harrisons travel to New York and the Patels have a day off, Tyler convinces Maya to meet him at a coffee shop 2 towns over, away from Westlake's gossip network. For 6 blissful hours, they exist as just 2 teenagers, laughing over shared pastries, debating technology ethics, and finally, behind the bookstore next door, sharing a kiss that feels like coming home. "I wish we could stay here," Maya whispers against his lips. "Maybe someday we can," Tyler responds, resting his forehead against hers. "After graduation. After all this." But reality always intrudes. Tyler's phone buzzes with Amber's name, his expression darkening as he reads the message. "I have to go," he says reluctantly. "Family dinner with the Wellingtons." Maya's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Of course. On campus, Tyler maintains his public role, escorting Amber to events, sitting with the trio at lunch, while seeking Maya in shadows and stolen moments. Each time he pulls away in public, a small piece of Maya's heart calcifies, even as she tells herself she understands. "He's trying," she whispers to herself, a mantra that grows weaker with each performance of their double lives. Unknown to Maya, the Golden Trio watches her relationship with Tyler with increasing alarm. What began as casual cruelty has evolved into strategic warfare, as they sense Tyler slipping from their influence. "He actually defended her in English today," Zoe reports during one of their strategy sessions in Amber's bedroom, when Fleming tried to give credit for her analysis to Brad. Amber's perfectly manicured nails tap against her phone case. "The Harrison-Wellington merger depends on our families staying close. My father made that very clear. Not to mention what would happen to our status if Tyler actually went public with Dishwasher Girl," Blake adds, sprawled across Amber's chaise lounge. "We need to end this before graduation." While the trio plots, other observers note the shifting dynamics with more sympathy. Mrs. Chen, the librarian, notices how Tyler and Maya's study sessions have evolved from sitting across from each other to side by side, shoulders touching, voices lowered in private conversation. "Young love," she murmurs to the physics teacher. "Reminds me of Romeo and Juliet. Let's hope for a happier ending," he responds, both adults aware of Westlake's unforgiving social climate. Even Tyler's younger sister Emma, a freshman, notices the change in her brother. "You're different lately," she comments one evening. "Less fake." "What's that supposed to mean?" Tyler asks, defensive. "It's a good thing," Emma assures him. "You laugh for real now, like when we were kids." Mrs. Patel observes her daughter with a mother's perceptiveness, noting the glow in Maya's cheeks, the distracted smiles at dinner, the extra time spent on her appearance before heading to study sessions. "Be careful with your heart, Beta," she cautions gently. "Some worlds don't mix easily." "We're just friends, Mom," Maya insists, the lie sitting uncomfortably between them. "Friends don't make your eyes shine that way," her mother replies softly. "Just remember who you are, no matter what happens." The most telling signs come from Tyler himself, who begins challenging the status quo in small but significant ways, questioning Blake's casual cruelty, steering conversations away from gossip, suggesting community service projects instead of the usual exclusive parties. "What's gotten into you lately?" Amber demands, after Tyler suggests the senior class fundraiser benefit local service workers. "Next, you'll be suggesting we invite the janitors to prom." Tyler's response is quiet, but firm. "Would that be so terrible?" As the entrepreneurship fair approaches, Maya faces increasing resistance from unexpected sources. Mr. Fleming accidentally deletes her project files during a server update, forcing her to rebuild significant portions from backup. Principal Hargrove questions whether her participation is appropriate given her work-study obligations. Maybe you're spreading yourself too thin, she suggests with fake concern. We wouldn't want your grades to suffer. Simultaneously, Tyler faces mounting pressure from his father, who schedules a series of interviews with family friends at prestigious investment firms. It's time you started thinking about your legacy, Mr. Harrison insists over breakfast. The sustainable tech hobby is cute, but Harrison men build empires, not tree houses. The contradiction of their situations isn't lost on either of them. Maya fighting for opportunities Tyler takes for granted, while Tyler chafes under expectations Maya would consider privileges. Sometimes I think you're the only person who sees me, Tyler confesses during a rare moment alone in the school parking lot. Not the Harrison heir or Amber's boyfriend or team captain, just me. That goes both ways, Maya replies, thinking of how Tyler encouraged her app development when everyone else dismissed it. You saw something in me worth believing in. Their hands find each other briefly before the sound of approaching footsteps forces them apart again. The night before the fair, Maya receives an anonymous text. Check your presentation before tomorrow. Wouldn't want any bugs in your system. Alarmed, she stays up until dawn reviewing her code, finding nothing but unable to shake the feeling of impending disaster. Meanwhile, Tyler lies awake in his massive bedroom, staring at 2 items on his nightstand. An acceptance letter from his father's alma mater where a legacy admission was guaranteed, and a brochure for a tech-focused state school with an innovative sustainability program he'd applied to secretly. 2 paths diverging, both seemingly impossible to reconcile with the feelings growing between them. Not all chains are made of iron. Some are forged from expectations, traditions, and the fear of disappointing those who believe they know what's best for us. The entrepreneurship fair transforms Westlake Academy's gymnasium into a showcase of privilege disguised as innovation. Students presenting business concepts funded by family connections and developed with professional consulting their parents arranged. Maya's booth stands out in its simplicity, a clean demonstration of Elite Serve's functionality on a tablet and monitor, without the elaborate displays surrounding her. Still, her quiet confidence draws a steady stream of visitors, including several judges clearly impressed by the app's elegant design and social impact potential. The algorithm matches service providers based on skill level and fair market rates, ensuring everyone receives appropriate compensation, she explains to the chief judge, a venture capitalist known for funding socially conscious startups. Impressive work, he comments, making notes on his clipboard. Have you considered how this might scale beyond local markets? As Maya outlines her expansion strategy, she doesn't notice Amber, Blake, and Zoe huddled near the sound booth, whispering urgently with the AV technician. Nor does she see Tyler enter the gymnasium, scanning the room until he spots her, a proud smile spreading across his face as he watches her confidently field questions. The announcement for final presentations brings students to the main stage. Maya, selected as a finalist, waits anxiously in the wings while Blake concludes his presentation for a luxury pet accessories subscription box. And now, Principal Hargrove announces, our final presenter, Maya Patel with Elite Serve. Maya takes the stage, connecting her tablet to the projection system. As her opening slide appears, she takes a deep breath and begins her carefully rehearsed pitch. How many of you have household staff, gardeners, housekeepers, nannies? Several students raise their hands. And how many of you know their full names, their children's names, whether they have health insurance? The hands drop, discomfort rippling through the audience. Elite Serve was created to transform how we value essential services in our communities. Her words cut off as the screen behind her suddenly changes, displaying what appears to be a clumsy code window filled with obviously plagiarized segments highlighted in red. A computerized voice booms through the speakers. Plagiarism detected. Code sourced from multiple existing applications. Originality score, 12%. Gasps echo through the gymnasium. Maya stands frozen, staring at the screen in horror. This isn't her code. She's never seen these segments before. This isn't... She stammers into the microphone. From the judge's table, the venture capitalist frowns, making a note on his clipboard. Whispers spread through the audience like wildfire. I knew it was too good to be true. Probably stole it from one of her mom's clients. Always thought she was faking it. The golden trio watches from the sidelines, Amber's perfectly glossed lips curving in satisfaction. When Maya's desperate gaze finds Tyler in the crowd, silently pleading for support, he stands halfway from his seat, then hesitates as every head turns toward him. For 3 eternal seconds, the two lock eyes across the gymnasium. Maya sees the conflict in his expression, the war between his heart and his lifelong conditioning. Then his eyes drop, and he slowly sinks back into his chair beside Amber, who places a proprietary hand on his arm. Something vital breaks inside Maya in that moment. Not just her heart, but her faith in possibility itself. Without another word, she disconnects her tablet and walks off the stage, back straight, despite the tears threatening to spill. Maya doesn't remember leaving the school. Her body moves on autopilot, carrying her past whispers and pointed fingers, out the glass doors, and into the cooling evening air. She finds herself at the neighborhood park where her mother used to take her as a child, before they understood the invisible boundaries of Westlake Heights. Her phone buzzes repeatedly with messages from Tyler. 7:06 p.m. Maya, please talk to me. 7:08 p.m. I know you didn't plagiarize anything. 7:10 p.m. I should have said something. 15 p.m. Where are you? I'm looking for you. 7:20 p.m. Please just tell me you're okay. She turns off the phone, the betrayal too fresh for his explanations. The park bench feels solid beneath her, something real in a world that suddenly seems built entirely of illusions. The tears come finally, quiet but relentless. I thought I'd find you here. Maya looks up to find Mrs. Patel standing before her, concern etched on her tired face. How did you know? When you were little, this was your thinking place. Her mother sits beside her. One of the other staff called me, said there was some trouble at the presentation. The story spills out between sobs. The sabotage, the humiliation, Tyler's betrayal. Mrs. Patel listens silently, an arm around her daughter's shoulders. He just sat there, Mom. He knew it wasn't true, and he just sat there. People often become who others expect them to be, her mother says sadly, even when they want to be something else. I was so stupid, Maya whispers, thinking someone like him would ever really choose someone like me. No. Mrs. Patel's voice hardens uncharacteristically. You are not someone like you. You are Maya Patel, brilliant, hardworking, and destined for more than this town can imagine. One boy's weakness doesn't change that. Later that night, Maya sits cross-legged on her bed, staring at the string of increasingly desperate texts from Tyler, culminating in 10:34 p.m. I'm coming to your place. We need to talk. She types a single response. Don't bother. We have nothing to say to each other. When her phone rings moments later, she answers coldly. I said, don't. Maya, it's Emma. Tyler's sister sounds breathless, panicked. He left to find you after he had a huge fight with our parents. Said he was done pretending. I've never seen him like this. Maya's grip tightens on the phone. What are you talking about? He told them everything. About you, about how he felt, about not wanting to follow Dad's plans. Said he was going to make things right with you no matter what it cost. A cold feeling spreads through Maya's chest. When was this? Over an hour ago. He's not answering his phone. Maya hangs up, her anger momentarily suspended by concern. Outside her window, rain has begun to fall, sheeting across the glass in silver rivulets. A knock at the apartment door startles her. She rushes to open it, expecting to find Tyler soaked and remorseful. Instead, Mrs. Harrison stands on the threshold, her perfect makeup streaked with tears. Is Tyler here? She asks without preamble. No, Maya answers, confusion mounting. I haven't seen him. Mrs. Harrison's composure cracks. There's been an accident. Tyler's car. The road was wet. The world tilts beneath Maya's feet, her mother appearing beside her to grasp her arm as her knees buckle. How bad? Maya manages, her voice barely audible. They've taken him to Westlake Memorial. He's in surgery now. Mrs. Harrison's perfectly manicured hands tremble as she clutches her designer handbag. Richard is already there. I came to see if... She trails off, the unspoken question hanging between them. Maya's mother steps forward, her natural compassion transcending class boundaries. We'll follow you to the hospital. The drive passes in a blur of windshield wipers and street lights distorted by rain. Maya stares out the window, her earlier anger now replaced by a numbing fear. The texts on her phone, messages she dismissed in hurt pride, now seemed desperately important. Potential last words from someone who might not survive the night. At the hospital, the sterile white corridors feel endless. Mr. Harrison paces the waiting area, his usual commanding presence diminished by helplessness. When he sees Maya, something flashes across his face. Recognition, perhaps blame, then resignation. "They're still working on him," he says curtly. "Internal bleeding. Head trauma. They won't tell us more." Hours pass in excruciating silence. Maya sits motionless, her mother's hand in hers, prayers and languages from her childhood filling her thoughts. Every opening door brings a surge of hope, quickly dashed as medical staff hurry past on other missions. Near midnight, a surgeon in blood-stained scrubs appears. He's stabilized for now. The next 24 hours will be critical. The relief is so intense that Maya nearly collapses again. Mrs. Harrison sobs openly while Mr. Harrison peppers the doctor with questions about recovery, prognosis, long-term effects. Maya hears it all as if underwater, the only relevant fact penetrating her consciousness. Tyler is alive. When they're finally allowed to see him, Maya hangs back, uncertain of her place in this family tableau. Mrs. Harrison notices her hesitation and, in a surprising gesture, extends her hand. "He was coming to find you," she says quietly. "I think he would want you here." Tyler looks impossibly fragile in the hospital bed, tubes and monitors creating a technological cocoon around his broken body. His perfectly styled hair is now partially shaved where surgeons repaired a skull fracture. Bruises bloom across his face, transforming his handsome features into something alien and vulnerable. Maya approaches slowly, afraid to disturb the machines keeping him alive. His hand, when she finally takes it, feels cold, unresponsive. Nothing like the warm fingers that had intertwined with hers beneath the oak tree or on the pool house roof. "I'm sorry," she whispers, tears falling freely now. "I should have answered your calls." No response comes beyond the steady beeping of monitors. Behind her, the Harrisons withdraw, giving her a moment of privacy they would never have considered before tragedy stripped away social pretenses. When she finally leaves his side, exhaustion weighing on her shoulders, Maya makes a silent promise: to be there when he wakes, to hear what he fought with his parents to tell her, to give him the chance she denied earlier that evening. But promises, she will soon learn, are sometimes made only to be broken by circumstances beyond our control. Mrs. Harrison's voice breaks as she delivers the news. "Tyler's in surgery right now. The car went off Ridgeline Drive near the ravine." Maya's world narrows to a pinpoint of light, everything else fading to white noise. "How bad is it?" "They don't know yet. His father is at the hospital now." Mrs. Harrison looks directly at Maya, her perfectly maintained facade crumbling. "He was coming here, wasn't he? To see you." Before Maya can respond, Mrs. Patel steps forward. "We should go to the hospital. All of us." The hospital waiting room creates strange equality, everyone reduced to the same uncomfortable chairs, the same institutional lighting, the same terrible coffee. Mr. Harrison paces near the surgery doors while Mrs. Harrison sits rigidly, staring at nothing. When she notices Maya and Mrs. Patel, something flashes across her face. Recognition, perhaps, of a shared fear that transcends their different worlds. Hours pass in agonizing silence. Maya's phone buzzes constantly, news of the accident spreading through Westlake's gossip network, including concerned messages from teachers and, surprisingly, a few classmates she barely knows. Around midnight, a surgeon emerges, face grave beneath his mask. He's stabilized, but the next 24 hours are critical. Broken ribs, punctured lung, head trauma. The list continues, each injury another knife in Maya's heart. As the Harrisons follow the doctor to see their son, Maya remains frozen in the waiting room, drowning in guilt and what-ifs. "This isn't your fault," her mother whispers, reading her thoughts. "If I had just answered his texts, then maybe you would have been in that car too." The realization hits her like physical pain, how easily both their lives could have ended on that rain-slicked road. Dawn breaks with Tyler still unconscious but stable. The golden trio arrives en masse, Amber's eyes red-rimmed but quickly calculating when she spots Maya. "What is she doing here?" she demands loudly of Emma, who has been sitting silently beside Maya for hours. "She has every right to be here," Emma responds, surprising everyone with her fierceness. "Right? After she drove him to this?" Blake interjects. phone already in hand as if documenting the confrontation. A nurse approaches before the situation escalates. Mr. Harrison is awake and asking for Maya. The collective gasp from the trio would be comical in any other context. As Maya follows the nurse, Amber calls after her, "This doesn't change anything. You'll always be the help's daughter." The words follow Maya down the sterile corridor, but for the first time, they don't penetrate. Something has shifted inside her, perspective gained at too high a cost. Tyler looks broken in the hospital bed, tubes and monitors surrounding him, his usually perfect features marred by cuts and bruises. His eyes, however, light up when he sees her. "You came," he whispers through cracked lips. "Of course I did," Maya replies, carefully taking his hand between her own. "I'm so sorry. Don't. Not now. Just focus on getting better." Tyler shakes his head slightly, wincing at the movement. "No, I need to say this. I was a coward. I let them hurt you because I was afraid." "We were both afraid," Maya admits. "Of different things, but still afraid. I told my parents everything. About us. About what I really want." His voice strengthens with resolve despite his weakened state. "I'm done living someone else's life." The monitor beside his bed beeps a warning as his heart rate increases. A nurse enters, giving Maya a pointed look. "I should go," she says, rising. Tyler clutches her hand with surprising strength. "Promise you'll come back." "I promise." But even as she says it, something crystallizes in Maya's mind. A clarity, born from nearly losing everything. As she exits the hospital into the harsh morning light, she knows what she must do. That evening, Mrs. Patel returns from her shift at the Harrison estate with news. The sabotage at the entrepreneurship fair has been traced to the AV technician, who confessed to being paid by some students to swap Maya's presentation. While no names were officially given, the trio's involvement is obvious to everyone. "Mr. Harrison was furious," her mother reports. "He's demanded an investigation." Maya nods, but her mind is elsewhere. On her laptop screen, an acceptance letter from a state university with a strong computer science program, a school hundreds of miles from Westlake Heights. "Mom," she says finally, "I need to leave." Mrs. Patel studies her daughter's face, seeing the woman emerging from the girl. "Because of Tyler?" "Because of me," Maya replies, certainty growing with each word. "I can't build my future in a place determined to tear it down. And Tyler, he needs to figure out who he is without trying to save me or please his parents." "What about your app? The scholarship?" "I can develop elite serve anywhere. Better somewhere I'm not constantly fighting just to be taken seriously." Her mother is quiet for a long moment, then nods slowly. "My sister in Phoenix has been asking us to visit. She says there are good opportunities there." The decision feels like the first adult choice Maya has ever made. Painful but necessary, like setting a broken bone so it can heal properly. 2 days later, as Tyler begins physical therapy and whispers of scandal circle through Westlake Heights, Maya and Mrs. Patel pack their modest belongings into their used Honda. Maya leaves a single letter for Tyler with Emma, unable to face a goodbye that might weaken her resolve. As they drive past the "Leaving Westlake Heights" sign, Maya doesn't look back. Some chapters must end completely before new ones can begin. In the aftermath, the narrative of Westlake Academy shifts subtly. The Golden Trio's power wanes as their involvement in the sabotage becomes an open secret. Tyler recovers physically but remains changed, breaking off his expected relationship with Amber and declining his legacy admission to his father's alma mater. The story of the scholarship girl and the heir apparent becomes Westlake legend, romanticized by some, cautionary tale to others. But neither Maya nor Tyler is there to hear these retellings, both gone from a world that couldn't contain who they were becoming. Sometimes the greatest act of courage isn't fighting to stay, but knowing when to walk away. Phoenix, Arizona, 7 years later. Maya stands at her apartment window, staring at the cityscape glowing gold in the setting sun. Her laptop screen displays the current user metrics for EliteServe, now valued at over $2 billion, with operations in 38 countries and over 2 million service providers registered on the platform. The notifications pile up. Interview requests from major business publications, speaking invitations for tech conferences, the persistent emails from venture capitalists seeking meetings. All the external validation she once craved now feels hollow, a poor substitute for genuine connection. Her phone buzzes with a text from her mother. Don't forget to eat something, CEO. Maya smiles despite herself. Mrs. Patel now heads Elite Serve's Worker Advocacy Division, ensuring the company never loses sight of its founding mission. The modest apartment they once shared has been replaced by neighboring houses in an upscale Phoenix suburb, close enough for Sunday dinners, separate enough for independence. The early years after leaving Westlake were brutally difficult. Community college while working 2 jobs, sleeping on her aunt's pull-out couch, coding Elite Serve until dawn on borrowed equipment. The app's beta launched in Phoenix service communities first, slowly building a reputation for fairness and reliability that attracted attention from local investors. By year 3, Elite Serve had secured its first $1 million in funding. By year 5, Maya had made her first $1 million in personal wealth. Now, at 24, she runs a company that's revolutionizing service industry standards globally. Yet success has created its own isolation. Her small circle of friends consists mainly of fellow entrepreneurs who understand the relentless pressure of building something from nothing. Dating has been a series of disappointments. Ambitious men intimidated by her success, or worse, those attracted to her only because of it. She hasn't returned to Westlake Heights once in 7 years, though news occasionally filters through. Her mother mentions the Harrisons in passing. Mr. Harrison's company struggling after some poor investment decisions. Mrs. Harrison's health issues. Never Tyler, though. That subject remains carefully untouched between them. Maya's assistant, Raj, interrupts her thoughts. The acquisition documents for Wellington Grand just arrived. Legal says everything looks straightforward. Thank you, Maya replies, taking the folder. And the staff retention analysis? Complete reductions would save approximately $12 million annually, but we'd lose institutional knowledge and community goodwill. Maya nods, the numbers cold in their clarity. The Wellington Grand Hotel, once the crown jewel of Amber Wellington's family empire, now teeters on bankruptcy, a potential bargain acquisition for Elite Serve's expanding hospitality division. Later that night, unable to sleep, Maya finds herself Googling Tyler Harrison, something she permits herself only in moments of weakness. The search yields the usual results. Society page mentions of charity galas attended, a few business articles about Harrison Technologies restructuring, and invariably photos of Tyler with a succession of beautiful women, models, actresses, socialites, none lasting more than a few months. The most recent article shows him at a tech conference, looking more serious than the carefree playboy of earlier photos. The caption notes his recent appointment as Chief Recovery Officer for Harrison Technologies, tasked with salvaging the company after his father's health-related retirement. Maya closes the laptop, annoyed at herself for caring after all this time. Tomorrow she flies to Westlake Heights to finalize the Wellington Grand acquisition. A business decision. Nothing more. Not a return. Certainly not a reckoning. Just another transaction in a life built on moving forward, rather than looking back. Still, as sleep finally claims her, it's Tyler's face that follows her into dreams. Not the society page playboy, but the boy by the pool who once looked at her code and saw possibility. The Wellington Grand Hotel maintains its facade of luxury despite the financial turmoil behind the scenes. As Maya's car pulls up to the entrance, she notes the slightly worn edges of the once immaculate property, delayed maintenance revealing the cracks in the Wellington empire. Ms. Patel, welcome to Wellington Grand. The manager greets her with practiced charm. We've prepared the presidential suite for your stay. That won't be necessary, Maya replies. I prefer the business suite. More practical for working. As she moves through the opulent lobby, Maya feels the weight of stares, staff whispering behind hands, recognizing the woman whose company may determine their future employment. She keeps her expression neutral, the polished professionalism she's cultivated over years of being underestimated in boardrooms. In the elevator, her phone buzzes with a text from her CFO. Harrison Technologies just entered the picture as financial advisor to the Wellingtons. Potential complication. Maya's heart rate spikes despite her best efforts at control. She types back with steady fingers. Noted. Proceed as planned. The business suite offers a commanding view of Westlake Heights, the town seemingly unchanged, yet completely foreign to her now. The familiar skyline of privilege now looks small, provincial compared to the global cities where she typically conducts business. As she unpacks her laptop, a knock at the door announces room service she didn't order, a bottle of champagne with a note. Welcome back to Westlake. Some returns are more triumphant than others. A.W. Maya sets the bottle aside, Amber's passive-aggressive welcome confirming her suspicion. News of her arrival has already spread through Westlake's still-active gossip network. The hotel's conference room is prepared for tomorrow's acquisition meeting, the long table set with water pitchers and legal pads like offerings to the gods of capitalism. Maya completes a final review of the documents, noting areas where staff reductions seem inevitable. Business is business, after all. Sentiment has no place in strategy. That evening, she forces herself to dine in the hotel restaurant rather than ordering room service. A small act of courage, facing this town on her terms. She's barely through her appetizer when a familiar laugh cuts through the ambient noise. Bright, artificial, calibrated for maximum attention. Amber Wellington holds court at a center table, still beautiful, but with the hardened edges of someone fighting to maintain position. Beside her sits Zoe Sinclair, now visibly pregnant, wedding ring catching the light as she gestures. Blake Richardson completes the trio, his once athletic frame now softened with the beginnings of a paunch, his boisterous voice carrying across the restaurant. Maya keeps her gaze on her plate, hoping to avoid notice. But luck isn't with her. "Oh my God," Amber's voice rises deliberately. "Is that Maya Patel? The scholarship girl?" The restaurant quiets as heads turn. Maya meets Amber's gaze directly, offering a professional smile. "Ms. Wellington, I was hoping we could save the reunion for tomorrow's meeting." Amber approaches Maya's table, trailing Zoe and Blake like the entourage they've always been. "When they told me Elite Serve was interested in acquiring us, I nearly died. Talk about full circle. Business is full of interesting coincidences." Maya replies evenly. "Is that what you call it?" Blake interjects. "Seems more like revenge to me. If I based my acquisition strategy on high school grudges, Mr. Richardson, I'd have a much smaller portfolio." Zoe studies Maya with calculating eyes. "You've done well for yourself. That Vogue profile last year was quite flattering." "Thank you." Maya responds, recognizing the grudging respect of someone who still measures worth by external validation. "Well," Amber says with false brightness, "we're all just dying to catch up, especially since Tyler will be joining us tomorrow. He's consulting on the deal, you know." The name lands like a physical blow, but Maya maintains her composure. "I was informed Harrison Technologies is involved, yes." "Oh, they're not just involved." Amber leans closer, dropping her voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "Tyler's been practically living at the hotel these past weeks, working day and night to save us. Such dedication." A server approaches with Maya's main course, providing a welcome interruption. "If you'll excuse me, I'd like to finish my dinner. We have a busy day tomorrow." The trio retreats, but the damage is done. Maya's appetite vanishes as her mind races with this new information. Tyler isn't just peripherally involved. He's leading Harrison Technologies' side of the negotiations. The prospect of facing him across a conference table after 7 years seems suddenly, viscerally impossible. Back in her suite, Maya considers her options. Backing out now would show weakness, and potentially jeopardize the acquisition. Sending another executive in her place would be interpreted as fear. Neither is acceptable. Her phone rings. The hotel's front desk. "Ms. Patel, there's a delivery for you." Minutes later, she stands staring at a thick manila envelope delivered by courier. Inside, she finds detailed financial reports on the Wellington Grand. Not the sanitized versions provided to potential buyers, but the raw numbers showing the hotel's situation is far more dire than presented. Staff have been unpaid for weeks. Vendors are threatening to cut off supplies. The Wellington family has been moving assets offshore. A note, typed on plain paper. "They're planning to take your money and run, leaving the staff with nothing. Thought you should know." The note is unsigned, but Maya recognizes the patterns in the financial analysis, the same methodical approach to numbers that once helped debug her early code. Tyler's fingerprints, unmistakable to her even after all these years. As midnight approaches, Maya rewrites her acquisition strategy, incorporating this new information. If the Wellingtons think they can outmaneuver her, they've underestimated how far she's come from the girl they once humiliated. Tomorrow's meeting has transformed from a simple business transaction into something far more complex. A chess game where she finally holds more pieces than her opponents. Sleep eludes her, thoughts cycling between strategic planning and memories she's worked years to suppress. The knowledge that tomorrow will bring a face-to-face confrontation with Tyler Harrison. No longer the boy from the pool house, but a man who's apparently developed his own ruthless business acumen, keeps her staring at the ceiling until dawn breaks over Westlake Heights. Some homecomings aren't about finding what you left behind, but confronting who you've become in the leaving. Dawn finds Maya in the hotel's fitness center, running on the treadmill as if she could outpace the day ahead. Physical exertion has become her therapy over the years, the discipline of pushing her body helping to quiet her mind. With each stride, she mentally armors herself for the coming confrontation. By 8 a.m., she's transformed into the CEO the business world knows. Hair pulled into a sleek chignon, crimson power suit impeccably tailored, posture radiating quiet authority. The vulnerable girl who fled Westlake Heights exists now only in memory. Final acquisition numbers, her assistant reports, handing over a tablet with the morning's calculations. If the Wellingtons are hiding assets as suspected, we can invoke Clause 23B and pursue legal remedies. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Maya replies, but have legal standing by just in case. As she enters the conference room 15 minutes early, a habit from years of proving herself in rooms where she was often the youngest, the only woman, the only person of color, Maya centers herself with a technique learned from her first mentor, owning the space, physically and psychologically, before others arrive. She selects the head of the table, back to the windows, positioning herself so all others must face into the light. A small advantage, but in negotiations, details matter. Her materials are arranged with precision. Legal documents, financial reports, the manila envelope of leaked information strategically visible but closed. The Wellington contingent arrives first, Amber flanked by lawyers and financial advisors, her father, Wallace Wellington, moving with the shuffling gait of a man whose confidence has been shattered by failure. Amber's eyes widen slightly at finding Maya already established at the power position, but she recovers quickly. Maya, darling, I hope you slept well. The West Wing can be so noisy with the service elevators. I slept perfectly, thank you, Maya responds pleasantly. Shall we get started, or are we waiting for the Harrison team? As if summoned by her words, the conference room door opens again. Maya keeps her gaze on her papers, heart hammering traitorously despite her preparation. Only when everyone is seated does she finally look up, directly into Tyler Harrison's eyes. The years have refined rather than diminished him. Gone is the boyish charm, replaced by the sharp edges of a man who has faced his own battles. His tailored suit cannot disguise the athletic build maintained despite boardroom life, but it's his eyes that catch her, still that impossible blue, but now carrying shadows that weren't there before. For 3 eternal seconds, they regard each other across the polished expanse of mahogany. Recognition, assessment, something else neither would name. Ms. Patel, he says finally, voice deeper than she remembers. Welcome back to Westlake Heights. Mr. Harrison, she replies with professional courtesy. Thank you for joining us. I understand Harrison Technologies has a significant interest in the outcome of today's discussions. We do, he confirms, opening his portfolio with a brisk efficiency that mirrors her own. The Wellington Grand represents an important client relationship. Plus, old friends help each other out, Amber interjects with a pointed glance between them. Isn't that right, Tyler? Maya takes control before the meeting can derail into personal territories. Let's review the current offer on the table. What follows is a masterclass in negotiation. Maya presents Elite Serve's acquisition terms with precision and clarity, addressing potential concerns before they're raised, demonstrating intimate knowledge of the hotel's operations that clearly unsettles the Wellington team. These staff retention figures are based on what documentation, exactly? Wallace Wellington interrupts, sweat beading on his forehead. Payroll reports from the past 6 quarters, Maya replies smoothly, along with staff performance metrics and guest satisfaction correlations. Tyler's expression shifts subtly, recognition that she has information she shouldn't. His eyes flick to the manila envelope beside her elbow, then back to her face. The ghost of a smile touches his lips, respect perhaps for a worthy opponent. Amber grows increasingly agitated as the meeting progresses, her interjections becoming more desperate as Maya systematically dismantles the Wellingtons' inflated valuation. When they break for lunch, the power dynamics have clearly shifted. Elite Serve is no longer the supplicant seeking to acquire a prestigious property. They are the lifeline the Wellingtons desperately need. Alone in her office suite during the break, Maya allows herself a moment of satisfied exhale. The meeting is proceeding perfectly to plan. The Wellingtons will have no choice but to accept her terms, including the staff protection provisions she insisted upon, a point she knows will surprise them, given the ruthless business reputation she's cultivated. A knock at the door interrupts her thoughts. She opens it expecting her assistant, finding instead Tyler Harrison, hands in pockets, stance casual despite the tension between them. "Impressive performance in there," he says without preamble. "You've become quite the corporate shark." "I learned from watching the best," she replies, leaving deliberately unclear whether that's a compliment or criticism. "Was there something specific you needed, Mr. Harrison?" "Tyler," he corrects. "And yes, actually, an explanation of how you came to possess those internal documents that have Wallace sweating through his Brioni suit." Maya weighs her options, then steps aside, inviting him in. "I think we both know the answer to that." Tyler enters but remains standing, maintaining the careful distance between them. Someone leaked confidential information. Someone wanted to ensure the staff wouldn't be casualties of the Wellingtons' financial maneuvering. Maya studies his face. Someone with access to their private financial records and apparently a conscience. "Hypothetically speaking," Tyler responds, the hint of a smile touching his lips, "that someone might have remembered your mother was once staff who got caught in the crossfire of wealthy people's games." The reference to their shared past hangs in the air between them. Maya moves to the window, needing physical distance from the memories his presence evokes. "Why are you really here, Tyler? The great Harrison heir, saving failing hotels? Seems beneath your pay grade." Something hardens in his expression. "You don't know anything about my life these past 7 years." "I know what everyone knows," she counters. "The Playboy executive, a different model on your arm at every gala. Your father's company struggling while you jet-set around the world. Careful landscaping of public perception," he says quietly. "Some of us didn't have the luxury of complete reinvention." Before she can process this, her assistant interrupts to announce the meeting is reconvening. As they walk back to the conference room, Tyler speaks in an undertone meant only for her. "The Wellington Grand has 342 employees, Maya. People with families, mortgages, medical bills. Whatever happens today, remember that." The afternoon session brings tense negotiations over final terms. Maya presents her unexpected condition. Elite Serve will acquire the Wellington Grand only if the current owners agree to relinquish all operational control immediately upon signing. "This is outrageous," Wallace sputters. "The transition plan clearly stated a 6-month handover period. That was before I discovered your systematic mismanagement and potential fraud." Maya responds calmly, opening the manila envelope at last. Staff wages diverted to offshore accounts. Vendor payments skimmed. Maintenance funds reallocated to personal expenses. The color drains from Wallace's face. Amber looks from her father to Tyler with dawning horror, realizing the source of the leak. "You backstabbing?" she begins, but Tyler cuts her off. "The documents speak for themselves, Amber. Your family has been driving this institution into the ground while protecting your own interests." Maya watches this exchange with newfound curiosity. This is not the Tyler she expected, not the society playboy, not the coward who once failed to stand up for her. This man has sharp edges and clear boundaries that weren't visible in the boy she knew. By meeting's end, a provisional agreement is reached. Elite Serve will acquire the Wellington Grand at a significantly reduced price, with immediate transfer of operational control and legal protections for existing staff. The Wellingtons, facing potential fraud charges if they resist, have no choice but to accept. As papers are gathered and final handshakes exchanged, Amber approaches Maya with the desperate smile of someone who has underestimated her opponent at every turn. This was always about revenge, wasn't it? For high school? Maya regards her former tormentor with something approaching pity. "This might be difficult for you to comprehend, Amber, but most of my business decisions aren't based on what happened when we were 17. But you must be enjoying this," Amber persists, her voice rising slightly. "Watching our family lose everything while Your family isn't losing everything," Maya interrupts. "You're losing a failing business that you mismanaged. There's a difference." As the Wellington team departs, leaving only the Harrison contingent to finalize details, Maya allows herself to acknowledge the symmetry of the moment, standing victorious in the very town that once made her feel worthless. Not revenge exactly, but perhaps the universe's own form of poetic justice. The acquisition papers require another day of legal review before signing, leaving Maya with an unexpected evening in Westlake Heights. Rather than staying secluded in her hotel suite, She makes an impulsive decision to visit her old neighborhood. The apartment complex where she lived with her mother has been renovated, now advertising luxury garden living, at prices that would have been impossible for their family budget. She parks across the street, watching residents come and go, young professionals mostly, worlds away from the service workers who once populated the building. Her phone rings, her mother calling for a post-meeting update. Maya describes the day's events, carefully neutral in her description of seeing Tyler again. "And how did that feel, Beta?" Mrs. Patel asks, maternal intuition transcending the professional discussion. "It didn't feel like anything," Maya lies. "We're different people now. People change their circumstances, not their hearts." Her mother responds softly, "Be careful with yours." After the call, Maya drives aimlessly through Westlake Heights, retracing routes once walked out of necessity rather than choice. She passes Westlake Academy, its stone buildings illuminated against the evening sky, looking more like a movie set than a real place where real pain was inflicted. Without conscious decision, she finds herself turning onto the road leading to the Harrison estate. She slows as she approaches the modern mansion, still impressive, despite signs that its maintenance has been less meticulous in recent years. Looking for something specific? The voice startles her. Tyler stands at the edge of the drive, clearly having just returned from a run, t-shirt dark with sweat, face flushed with exertion. Maya rolls down her window, embarrassment heating her cheeks at being caught in this moment of nostalgia. Just remembering. Tyler approaches her car, keeping a respectful distance. "I'd invite you in, but it's not really my house anymore. I keep an apartment in the city these days." "Your parents?" "Father's health isn't good. Mother stays with him at their place in Arizona now." A shadow crosses his face. "The irony isn't lost on me that they ended up where you built your success." An awkward silence falls between them. Too much history, too many unspoken words. "I should go," Maya says finally. "Or," Tyler suggests, "we could get coffee. There's a place down the road, neutral territory." The coffee shop is new since Maya's time in Westlake, an independent operation with none of the pretension of the town's usual establishments. They sit at a corner table, two successful adults conducting a civil conversation. Anyone watching would never guess at the complicated history beneath the surface. "So," Tyler begins after they're settled with their drinks, "elite serve. Pretty impressive empire you've built. It's been a good 7 years." Maya acknowledges. "And you?" The playboy executive role seems to be working out. Something like annoyance flashes across his face. "You keep mentioning that. Is that really how you see me?" "It's how everyone sees you, according to Forbes and Business Insider. The party boy who somehow keeps Harrison Technologies afloat between champagne toasts and yacht parties." Tyler's laugh holds no humor. "Carefully cultivated image. Keeps competitors underestimating me while I quietly rebuild what my father nearly destroyed." Maya studies him with genuine curiosity now. Why the facade? Strategy, initially. No one expects serious moves from someone they dismiss as a privileged playboy. He meets her gaze directly. Then it became protective. Easier to let people see what they expect than to let them close enough to really know you. The insight resonates uncomfortably with Maya's own experience. The tough CEO persona she's cultivated to navigate the tech world's boys' club. Those models and actresses, she finds herself asking despite her better judgment. All for show? Some, he admits. Mutually beneficial arrangements. They get publicity, I get to maintain the image. The real relationships, he shrugs. They never lasted. Hard to build something real on a foundation of performance. An unexpected vulnerability crosses his features, quickly masked. What about you? No power couples in the tech world? No Silicon Valley merger of compatible ambitions? Maya smiles despite herself. Turns out being a female CEO under 30 narrows the dating pool considerably. Men either want to compete with me or live in my shadow. Neither works long-term. Their loss, Tyler says simply, the sincerity in his voice catching her off guard. They talk for nearly 2 hours, carefully navigating around the most painful parts of their history while rebuilding a map of who they've become. Maya learns about Tyler's quiet work, restructuring his family's company, his foundation providing educational grants to service industry workers' children. Tyler listens intently to Maya's journey building Elite Serve, the challenges she overcame, her vision for transforming how service work is valued. When they finally leave the coffee shop, night has fallen completely over Westlake Heights. They walk to their cars in companionable silence that feels dangerous in its comfort. "The signing tomorrow," Tyler says as they reach the parking lot. "What happens after?" "I head back to Phoenix. The transition team arrives next week." Maya hesitates. "Your involvement with the Wellington Grand ends with the acquisition, I assume?" "Technically, yes." His expression turns thoughtful. "Though I might have some insights on staff restructuring that could be valuable, if you're interested." The professional opening carries a personal question beneath it. Maya considers her response carefully. "I'd be open to consultation, on a strictly professional basis." Tyler's smile acknowledges the boundary she's establishing. Strictly professional, of course. As Maya drives back to the hotel, she finds herself unsettled by the evening in ways she hadn't anticipated. The Tyler she met tonight bears little resemblance to either the boy she once loved or the playboy of magazine covers. This man is complex, thoughtful, shaped by his own struggles in ways that echo her own journey. In her hotel suite, she finds an email from Tyler, not personal musings on their reconnection, but a detailed analysis of the Wellington Grand's operational inefficiencies, with suggestions for restructuring that would preserve most staff positions while improving profitability. Professional, thorough, intelligent. Maya stays up late reviewing his recommendations, reluctantly impressed by his insight. By morning, she's incorporated several of his suggestions into EliteServe's transition plan, a plan that will now retain 95% of staff, rather than the 70% originally projected. As she dresses for the signing ceremony, Maya acknowledges the truth she's been avoiding since arriving in Westlake Heights. Coming back was never just about business. Some part of her needed to face this place, and this man, as the person she's become, not the girl who fled in pain. The question remaining, as she applies her signature red lipstick like war paint, is whether facing the past means finally putting it to rest, or whether it means discovering that some chapters weren't actually finished after all. Roads back to ourselves often pass through the places and people we've tried hardest to leave behind. The signing ceremony transforms the Wellington Grand's ballroom into a shrine to corporate transition. EliteServe and Wellington logos share uneasy space on banners and place cards. Staff hover anxiously at the periphery, their futures hanging on the stroke of pens they aren't permitted to hold. Maya arrives early, reviewing final changes with her legal team. The modifications to maintain higher staff retention levels have raised eyebrows among her board members, accustomed to her typically ruthless approach to acquisitions. "It's strategic," she explained in that morning's call. "The value of the Wellington Grand is in its service reputation. Maintaining staff continuity preserves that value." A logical explanation that neatly sidesteps the truth that somewhere between confronting her past and reconnecting with Tyler, Maya has remembered the human element that once drove her to create EliteServe in the first place. The Wellingtons enter as a subdued unit. Wallace looking decades older than at yesterday's meeting, Amber's usual confidence replaced by brittle dignity. Behind them comes Tyler with the Harrison Technologies team, his expression professionally neutral when their eyes meet across the room. The ceremony proceeds with choreographed precision, speeches about exciting new chapters and honoring legacies that mask the reality of a failing business changing hands. When Maya takes the podium, she deviates from her prepared remarks. "The Wellington Grand has always been more than a luxury hotel," she begins, gaze sweeping over the nervous staff gathered at the back. "It's been a community of dedicated professionals whose work often goes unseen, but is felt in every guest experience. EliteServe began with a mission to recognize and value such work. Today, I'm pleased to announce that our acquisition includes a commitment to retain all staff who wish to remain, with enhanced benefits packages and career development opportunities." A ripple of surprise moves through the room. The staff exchange hopeful glances while the Wellington family shifts uncomfortably, this unexpected generosity highlighting their own neglect of these same workers. Tyler watches Maya from the sidelines, something like pride in his expression. When their eyes meet briefly, a silent acknowledgement passes between them. He recognizes the influence of his recommendations in her announcement, appreciates that she's taken them further than even he suggested. After the signing, guests mingle over champagne and canapes, a celebration for some, a wake for others. Maya moves efficiently through the crowd, accepting congratulations from business associates while avoiding the Wellingtons' glares. She's discussing transition details with the hotel manager when Zoe Sinclair approaches, clearly having separated from the Golden Trio for this confrontation. "That was quite the generous gesture with the staff," Zoe observes, cradling her pregnancy with protective hands. Not exactly the ruthless CEO we've read about. People are more than their media profiles, Maya responds evenly. Zoe nods, surprising Maya with what appears to be genuine reflection. I've thought about you over the years, you know. After what we did at the fair, it wasn't right. The unexpected quasi-apology catches Maya off guard. No, it wasn't. We were terrible kids, Zoe continues, a hint of remorse in her voice. Privileged, entitled, mean. When my company went bankrupt last year, I finally understood what it feels like to lose everything you thought defined you. Maya studies the woman before her, still beautiful but softer somehow, humbled by life in ways her teenage self could never have imagined. For what it's worth, Zoe says quietly, Tyler never forgot you. Even during his worst Playboy years, your name was off limits. Anyone who mentioned you got shut down immediately. Before Maya can respond, Wallace Wellington clinks a glass, demanding attention for an impromptu speech. His words are a thinly veiled bitter commentary on changing fortunes and ungrateful employees, causing uncomfortable shifts among the guests. Tyler steps forward smoothly, intercepting the microphone before Wallace can further damage the already strained atmosphere. I think what Mr. Wellington means to express is his confidence that the Wellington Grand's legacy will be honored and enhanced under Elite Serve's innovative management to new beginnings. The diplomatic recovery earns appreciative murmurs. As guests resume conversations, Maya finds herself cornered by Amber, whose perfect makeup can't quite hide the redness around her eyes. You won everything, didn't you? Amber's voice carries the brittle edge of someone barely maintaining composure. The company, the hotel, and now Tyler too. The perfect revenge story. This isn't about revenge, Amber, isn't it? The scholarship girl returning as a billionaire to buy out the family that tormented her? Tell me you haven't imagined this moment for years. Maya considers her response carefully. I've imagined success, yes. But taking over your family's hotel was a business decision based on market analysis and strategic expansion, not personal history. And Tyler? Amber challenges. Is he a business decision too? Tyler and I have a complicated past that has nothing to do with you anymore. Amber laughs mirthlessly. It always had everything to do with me. Do you know he looked for you for months after you left? Hired private investigators? Nearly got himself disowned? Maya keeps her expression neutral despite the revelation. That was a long time ago. He was obsessed with finding you, with making things right. Then one day he just stopped. Became this empty shell playing the role everyone expected. Amber's voice drops. I always wondered what would happen if you ever came back into his life. Guess now we'll find out. As Amber walks away, Maya feels the careful compartmentalization of her feelings beginning to fracture. The possibility that Tyler had truly tried to find her, had fought for her in ways she never knew, rewrites a narrative she's held for 7 years. The celebration winds down as evening approaches. Maya retreats to a quiet alcove, needing a moment away from the performance of corporate pleasantries. She doesn't realize Tyler has followed until he speaks. So, CEO Patel, mission accomplished? She turns to find him leaning against the doorframe, jacket discarded, tie loosened. A small rebellion against business formality that reminds her of the boy who once challenged his father's rigid expectations. The acquisition went smoothly, she agrees, though your last-minute staff retention suggestion complicated my profit projections. Funny how human considerations tend to do that. There's no accusation in his tone, just a gentle observation that hits closer to home than she'd like to admit. For years, Maya has built her business decisions on cold data and strategic advantage, deliberately excluding the emotional factors that once drove her vision. Was Amber telling the truth? She finds herself asking. About you looking for me after I left? Tyler's expression tightens. She had no right to tell you that. But did you? He moves into the alcove, close enough now that she can see the weariness behind his confident facade. Yes, for nearly a year. Private investigators, social media searches, calling universities. You disappeared completely. That was the point, Maya says quietly. Clean break. From Westlake. Yes, from me. He hesitates. I always hoped you knew I tried to make things right that night, before the accident. Your sister told me you'd fought with your parents, that you were coming to find me. I was finally doing what I should have done at the fair, choosing you publicly. Consequences be damned. His smile holds no happiness. Turns out the universe had other plans. The mention of the accident hangs between them, I visited you in the hospital, Maya admits, when you were still unconscious, before we left town. Surprise registers on Tyler's face. I didn't know that. I couldn't leave without... She struggles to articulate the memory, without seeing for myself that you would be okay. Their eyes meet, years of misunderstanding and missed connection suspended in the charged space between them. For a moment, they're 17 again, full of possibility and the particular intensity of first love. The spell breaks as Maya's assistant appears at the entrance. Ms. Patel, your conference call with Tokyo is in 15 minutes. Thank you. Maya responds, grateful for the interruption before she could say something she might regret. I should go. Maya, Tyler says as she moves to leave. How long are you staying in Westlake? My flight back to Phoenix is tomorrow afternoon. He nods, absorbing this information. There's something I need to show you before you go. Something important. Can you meet me tonight? Professionalism dictates refusal. Self-preservation screams for distance. Yet Maya finds herself asking, where? The Harrison Library. 9 o'clock. He smiles at her raised eyebrow. Don't worry. My parents sold the house years ago. I bought it last month. No one will be there except us. The invitation carries weight beyond a simple meeting. Going to the place where their relationship first bloomed feels dangerously symbolic. Still, Maya nods. 9 o'clock. The Harrison estate looks different at night. Less imposing, more melancholy, like an aging star whose heyday has passed. Maya parks at the front entrance rather than the service drive her mother once used, a small but significant departure from their shared history. Tyler opens the door himself. No staff in sight. He's changed from his business attire to jeans and a simple button-down, an outfit that erases years from his appearance. Without a word, he leads her through the quiet house to the library. The 2-story room remains largely as Maya remembers. Walls of books reaching toward the vaulted ceiling, leather chairs positioned near the stone fireplace. But changes are evident too. Technology integrated into the traditional space, modern art replacing old hunting scenes, subtle signs of a new owner making his mark. You really bought the house, Maya observes, running her fingers along a familiar shelf. Investment property, officially. Tyler moves to a sideboard, pouring 2 glasses of water. Unofficially, I couldn't bear the thought of strangers living here. Too many memories. Maya accepts the glass, their fingers brushing in the exchange. Good ones or bad? Both. But the good ones, they were mostly here, in this room. His gaze is steady on hers. With you. The directness of his statement disarms her practiced poise. Tyler, why am I here? He sets his glass down, moving to a built-in cabinet she doesn't remember from her teenage years. Because there's something you should see before you leave Westlake again. He unlocks the cabinet with a key from his pocket. Something I've kept for 7 years. From within, he removes a leather portfolio and brings it to the large desk at the center of the room. With careful movements, he opens it to reveal documents Maya instantly recognizes. The original designs for Elite Serve, her handwritten notes and flowcharts from high school, printouts of code that formed the app's earliest foundation. How did you get these? She asks, shock evident in her voice. I lost everything in the sabotage. Not lost. Stolen. Tyler's expression hardens with old anger. After the accident, when I was finally coherent enough to understand what had happened, I confronted Amber. She admitted the trio had taken your backup drives and paper designs during the fair setup. Maya stares at the documents, a physical record of her earliest vision, thought lost forever. Why would you keep these all these years? At first, because I thought I'd find you, give them back. Then, he hesitates. Then they became a reminder of my biggest failure, the moment I didn't stand up when it mattered most. The raw honesty in his voice draws Maya's gaze from the papers to his face. The careful corporate mask has fallen away completely, revealing the vulnerability beneath. The real Tyler she glimpsed all those years ago by the pool, the person hidden from the world by both necessity and choice. I tracked your success, you know, he continues, a hint of pride warming his voice. Every milestone, every achievement. Watched from a distance as you built exactly what you said you would, what I was too cowardly to help you defend. You were 17, Maya says softly, surprising herself with the absolution. We both were. Old enough to know right from wrong. Old enough to choose courage over comfort. He moves closer, his voice dropping. I've spent 7 years making sure I never make that mistake again. The space between them feels charged with unresolved history and unexpected present attraction. Maya forces herself to step back, needing physical distance to maintain emotional clarity. Why show me this now? Why not send it when you found out I was coming to Westlake? Because I needed to see your face when you saw it. Needed to know if you still cared about any of it. The app, the vision. His pause carries weight. Me. The directness of the question leaves no room for corporate evasion. Maya finds herself answering with equal honesty. Elite Serve became more successful than I ever imagined. But somewhere along the way, it also became just business. Spreadsheets and market share and acquisition targets. She touches the handwritten notes, her teenage aspirations laid bare on the page. I forgot why I started it in the first place. To make invisible work visible, to give dignity to service that others take for granted. And the other part of my question? Tyler prompts quietly. Maya meets his gaze, the years between them simultaneously vast and non-existent. I tried very hard not to care about you anymore. Mostly, I succeeded. Mostly, there were moments. Seeing your name in business journals, hearing about Harrison Technologies' struggles, finding out you were working with the Wellingtons. I took that contract because I knew you were the potential buyer, Tyler admits. Wanted to see what would happen if our worlds collided again. The confession hangs between them, neither advancing nor retreating from its implications. Outside, rain begins to fall, the gentle patter against the library's high windows creating a cocoon of sound around them. I need to know something, Maya says finally. All these models, actresses, the Playboy reputation, was any of it real? Or was it all just corporate strategy? Tyler's laugh holds no humor. Some was real. I tried, God knows I tried, to feel with them what I felt with you. Even convinced myself a few times it was possible. His expression sobers, but none of them ever challenged me like you did. Saw through the Harrison name to the person underneath. It was easier to keep things superficial than face that disappointment repeatedly. And now? What do you want now, Tyler? He moves toward her slowly, deliberately, not the confident approach of the business tycoon or the practiced charm of the socialite, but the careful advance of someone who knows the value of what's at stake. A second chance. Not to go back. We can't be those kids again, but to see if who we've become still fits together somehow. Maya feels her carefully constructed defenses wavering. The rational part of her mind catalogs all the reasons this is impossible. Different cities, complex business interests, 7 years of separate lives. Yet another part, long suppressed but never quite silenced, recognizes the rarity of finding someone who knew you before success shaped you, someone who sees beyond the achievements to the person beneath. I can't just upend my life because we reconnected over a business deal, she says, though her tone lacks conviction. Elite Serve is in Phoenix. My mother is there. My whole life is there. I'm not asking you to upend anything. Just don't close the door this time. Don't disappear again. His hand reaches for hers, the touch sending electric awareness up her arm. We could start with dinner, in Phoenix. I hear they have restaurants there too. The hint of teasing breaks the tension, drawing a reluctant smile from Maya. They even have electricity and running water. Imagine that. Revolutionary. His thumb traces circles on her palm, the simple contact more intimate than it has any right to be. Say yes, Maya. To dinner. To possibility. To seeing where this goes without 17-year-old pride or pressure from people who don't matter anymore. The logical arguments for refusal fade against the reality of standing here with him, feeling more alive in his presence than she has in boardrooms full of adulation. Before she can respond, her phone chimes with an incoming text, her assistant confirming tomorrow's flight details. Reality intrudes on the moment, reminding her of responsibilities waiting beyond this room. I should go. Early flight tomorrow. Tyler nods, disappointment evident but controlled. Of course. He walks her to the door, the portfolio of her original designs tucked carefully under her arm, a piece of her past reclaimed, but also, perhaps, a bridge to something new. At the threshold, she turns to him one last time. Dinner, she says decisively, in Phoenix, next Friday. The smile that breaks across his face holds none of the practiced charm she's seen in magazine photos. It's genuine, unguarded joy that transforms him from handsome to breathtaking. I'll be there, he promises. The moment stretches between them, laden with possibility and unspoken feelings. When he leans forward, she meets him halfway, their lips connecting in a kiss that acknowledges both their history and the adults they've become. Gentle at first, then deepening with 7 years of absence and wondering. Maya pulls back first, unwilling to be swept away entirely by emotion when so much remains unresolved. Good night, Tyler. Good night, Maya. As she drives away from the Harrison estate for the second time in her life, the circumstances couldn't be more different. 7 years ago, she left broken and defeated, fleeing a town that had rejected her. Tonight, she leaves by choice, carrying pieces of her past that might somehow become part of her future. Tomorrow, she returns to Phoenix, to board meetings and strategy sessions, to the empire she's built through determination and brilliance. But she'll carry with her something she hasn't had in years, the possibility that success and happiness might not be mutually exclusive after all. Some endings are really beginnings in disguise, waiting for us to be ready to turn the page. Phoenix, 6 months later. The Elite Serve headquarters buzzes with controlled energy. Engineers debating code improvements, marketing teams planning international campaigns, human resources onboarding new staff for the rapidly expanding hospitality division. At the center of this corporate ecosystem, Maya moves with practiced confidence, still the driving force behind the company's vision despite its growth. In her corner office, floor-to-ceiling windows frame the Arizona skyline and the mountains beyond. On her desk, alongside cutting-edge technology, sits a framed photograph, Tyler and Maya, at the grand reopening of the Wellington Grand, now Elite Serve's flagship property. Their professional smiles mask the personal journey that has unfolded since that first dinner in Phoenix 6 months ago. Bicoastal dating proved challenging but not impossible. Weekend visits evolved into working remotely to extend their time together. The business world buzzed with speculation about a potential merger between Elite Serve and Harrison Technologies' Sustainable Development Division, unaware that the true merger was happening on a personal level. Maya opens her laptop to review the quarterly reports, satisfaction warming her as she notes the Wellington Grand's performance. Profits up 22% while maintaining the 95% staff retention she insisted upon. The decision business analysts questioned has proven both financially sound and ethically rewarding. A knock at her door interrupts her review. Her assistant enters with an unexpected visitor, Amber Wellington. She doesn't have an appointment, but says it's important. Her assistant explains, clearly uncertain about admitting Maya's former tormentor. It's fine, Rachel. Thank you. Amber enters hesitantly, a different woman than the one who sneered at Maya during the acquisition. 6 months managing her family's remaining assets, smaller hotels and secondary markets that Elite Serve didn't purchase, has stripped away much of her entitlement, replacing it with hard-earned pragmatism. I won't take much of your time, Amber begins, declining the offered seat. I just wanted to deliver this personally. She places a USB drive on Maya's desk. My father's legal team found these while preparing for his settlement. Voice recordings from the entrepreneurship fair. Proof that Zoe and Blake planned the sabotage. Maya regards the drive with mild surprise. Why give this to me now? Because I'm trying to be better, Amber admits, uncomfortable with the vulnerability. And because I need your help. She explains that the Wellington family's remaining hotels are struggling under the same labor practices that nearly destroyed their flagship property. Pride tempers her voice as she makes her request. I'd like to implement Elite Serve's staff management system across our properties. As a paying client, not a charity case. The request represents something neither woman could have imagined in high school. Amber acknowledging Maya's expertise, seeking a business relationship based on respect rather than power dynamics. I'll have our integration team contact you, Maya responds professionally. Then, with a hint of the warmth she's rediscovered these past months, adds, I think that's a smart decision, Amber. For your business and your staff. After Amber leaves, Maya turns the USB drive in her fingers, contemplating how little this vindication matters now. The truth of what happened at 17 feels less important than the truth of who she's become at 24. Her phone buzzes with a text from Tyler. Flight landed. Dinner at 7. Their relationship has evolved with deliberate care, neither rushing nor retreating, both aware of the scaffolding needed to build something lasting from the foundation of their complicated past. Weekly dinners became daily phone calls. Professional collaboration revealed new dimensions of compatibility. And gradually, carefully, they've allowed themselves to acknowledge what perhaps was always true, that in each other, they recognize both who they were and who they're still becoming. Tonight's dinner carries particular significance. Tyler is flying in not just for their usual weekend together, but with news of Harrison Technologies' board approval for a strategic partnership with Elite Serve, a business alliance that parallels their personal reconnection. As Maya prepares to leave the office, she stops by her mother's department. Mrs. Patel has transformed Elite Serve's worker advocacy division into an industry model, ensuring the company never loses sight of the people behind the services it coordinates. "Big night tonight?" her mother asks with knowing eyes. "Just dinner," Maya responds, though they both know it's more. "He's good for you, Beta," Mrs. Patel observes. "You laugh more since he came back into your life. We're different people now," Maya acknowledges. Maybe that's why it works. Walking through Elite Serve's bustling headquarters, Maya reflects on the journey that brought her here. From the invisible scholarship girl to powerful CEO, from heartbroken teenager to a woman rediscovering her capacity for both professional and personal fulfillment. The greatest lesson wasn't that success is the best revenge, but that success itself is hollow without connection to what truly matters. The people whose lives you touch, the values that guide your decisions, the courage to remain vulnerable even after being hurt. In creating Elite Serve, Maya set out to make invisible work visible. In rebuilding a relationship with Tyler, she's allowed herself to be fully seen again, not just as a brilliant entrepreneur, but as a person with dreams and fears, and the capacity to forgive, including herself. The restaurant Tyler has chosen sits atop Phoenix's tallest building, the city lights spreading below like earthbound stars. He waits at a corner table, rising when he sees her approach. 6 months of regular cross-country flights haven't diminished the electricity that sparks between them. If anything, it's deepened, matured from youthful attraction into something more substantial. "Congratulations are in order," Maya says as they settle into their seats. Harrison Technologies' stock jumped 8 points after the partnership announcement. "Turns out associating with the brilliant Maya Patel is good for business," Tyler responds with the warm smile he reserves only for her. Who could have predicted? Their conversation flows easily between professional updates and personal moments, the boundaries between their separate lives increasingly blurred. When dessert arrives, Tyler seems uncharacteristically nervous, his usual confidence wavering. "I've been thinking," he begins, setting down his fork, "about our arrangement." Maya feels a flicker of unease. Our arrangement? The constant flights, the scheduling gymnastics, the board members who think I'm distracted by my billionaire girlfriend when I should be focusing on the company. "Are we having a problem I don't know about?" Maya asks cautiously. Tyler reaches across the table, taking her hand. "The problem is that half my closet is in Phoenix and half yours is in Seattle, and neither of us has slept more than 4 consecutive nights in the same bed since this started." Relief washes through her. "That's the nature of our lives, Tyler. We both have responsibilities. What if we consolidated those responsibilities?" He reaches into his pocket, placing a small velvet box beside her dessert plate, along with our closets. Maya stares at the box, then at Tyler, whose expression holds none of the practiced charm of the playboy executive or the calculated poise of the business strategist, just the open vulnerability of a man offering his heart without guarantee of its safe return. "Before you panic," he continues quickly, "I'm not suggesting either of us gives up what we've built. Harrison Technologies' sustainable division is opening a Phoenix office next month. I've already leased space 3 blocks from Elite Serve headquarters." "Tyler, I'm not asking for an answer tonight," he interrupts gently, "just for you to consider possibility, the same way you did that night at the estate." Maya opens the box, revealing not an engagement ring as she half expected, but a key. "What's this for?" "That mid-century modern house you love on Camelback Mountain, the one you pointed out when we drove past last month. It's ours. Or it can be, if you want it." The gesture touches her deeply, not just the extravagance of the purchase, but the attention to what matters to her, the clear statement that he's planning for a shared future. "This is a big step," she says finally. "So was running a billion-dollar company before 30. So was rebuilding my father's company after he nearly destroyed it." His eyes hold hers steadily. "The things worth doing usually are big steps, Maya." Outside the restaurant's windows, a summer storm has gathered, lightning illuminating the desert landscape in brilliant flashes. The parallel to that rainy night in Westlake Heights 7 years ago isn't lost on either of them. Another threshold, another choice with lasting consequences. What about Seattle? Your life there? My life is with the people I care about, the work that matters to me. His thumb traces circles on her palm, an echo of that night in the library. I can do that work from Phoenix just as effectively. Maya studies him, this man who is both achingly familiar and still being discovered, who has grown from the boy who once failed her into someone strong enough to meet her as an equal. You really want this, she observes, hearing the wonder in her own voice. I want us, he corrects. The rest is just geography and logistics. Maya thinks of their journey, from teenagers trying to navigate impossible social pressures to adults who've built empires, made mistakes, learned resilience. The girl who fled Westlake Heights would never have believed this moment possible. The woman who returned there finally understands that the past shapes, but doesn't define us. She closes her hand around the key. Decision made. Yes. The simple word carries the weight of their complicated history and the promise of their chosen future. Tyler's smile breaks across his face like sunrise, unguarded joy that reminds her of the boy by the pool, seeing possibilities where others saw only limitations. Later, as they stand on the restaurant's sheltered balcony watching lightning dance across the desert sky, Tyler wraps his arms around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. You know what I just realized? He murmurs against her ear. We've come full circle. How so? In high school, everyone thought I was someone I wasn't. You were the only one who saw me clearly. His arms tighten slightly around her waist. Now the whole world sees what I always did. How extraordinary you are. But I'm still the one who gets to see the parts of you that aren't in the Forbes profile. Maya turns in his embrace, facing the man who once broke her heart, and has now, improbably, helped her find it again. They laughed at my dreams, she says softly. And now you sign their paychecks, Tyler finishes with a smile. The best revenge wasn't success after all. It was becoming exactly who you were meant to be. As their lips meet, Maya knows with certainty that this, not Elite Serve's valuation, or global expansion or industry accolades, is her true success story. Not revenge or vindication, or even professional achievement, but the courage to remain open to possibility, to forgiveness, to love that transcends the wounds of the past. In the city below, lights flicker as the storm passes through, thousands of lives intersecting, diverging, continuing. Among them, two people who once thought themselves worlds apart now stand together, proof that sometimes the longest journeys lead us exactly where we need to be. Some dreams aren't about what you achieve, but about who you become along the way, and who walks beside you when you finally arrive. Your heart knows the way. Subscribe and follow the beauty.